So one really big to-do item to start this project out is to create a nonprofit. And I would need to register that. The goal being to have a legal framework to support the spread of the ideas that I have. And those are really wide-ranging ideas, so it might be more than one nonprofit. It would allow people to donate to it and even deduct it off their taxes, which would increase the amount of support that the project would get, as opposed to the support I currently have gotten to survive this long. I have not had a real job for 25 years. I started out with a bunch of money that I worked decades to get. My first job was when I was 8 years old, selling fruits and veggies out of a wheelbarrow. It was my form of an allowance, I guess, since those fruits and veggies were given to me by my family. I didn't pay anything for them. In theory, I worked in the garden, but I'm pretty certain I was a sucky garden worker, because to be honest, it's just not my thing. So that's what I'd do, is take a wheelbarrow of fruits and veggies and actually go with a friend of mine, because he was stronger than I was, because I was a weak little sickly wuss. And I would actually give him a cut of the profits if he would push the wheelbarrow. And we would go door to door selling those fruits and veggies. And, stuff like zucchini, which was not a big seller. But like if we had bags, like lunch bags that were filled with Bing cherries, which are just like the best cherry that I know of. I'm pretty sure they've got to be the best cherry, and I'm annoyed I don't have any. I have some things I could graft them onto, so I need to buy some Bing cherries, take really good care of them, water them, fertilize them, get them to grow, see if they can just grow on their own, but also do some tests on grafting them onto some native cherries where I live, black cherries. What am I talking about? Oh yeah, so setting up this nonprofit would be a mechanism that would formalize the existence of a thing, and it would allow me to have a structure beyond myself. And it's even could be an organization that I can will the land to, because I'm going to die, and what happens to the forest then? It's not looking good. I don't know anybody who wants it that I would want to give it to. Of course, if you say you have a forest and want to give it away, then there's thousands of people who are unqualified and just want free shit. And there's tons of people who say, give me your land, give me your land, give me your land. And that's been suggested to me hundreds of times over the last 20 years. But never in any way that is a way that I would want to hear. Like, I have this cool idea, I would do this cool thing with it. Which is an interesting topic. Like, you're welcome to toss in your 2 cents on what you would do with a big forest, and hopefully you would contribute ideas that fit in with my values, or reality in some sense, because it has to be economically profitable. It's like there's tons of forest around here, and it has an economic benefit, but not a big one. And I want to make a forest that has immense value and actually has increased biodiversity over a normal forest. Like, all the forests around here are mostly pine forests, and coniferous forests are the least biodiverse kind of forest, according to a botanist she's a botanist or biologist, I forget, one of those. But anyway, it doesn't surprise me, because I used to have a pure pine forest, almost pure pine, and now I have a forest that's mixed, because the pine beetles made me cut down trees, and then the oaks and madrones and the black cherries take over. They have more light, because the pine trees drop their acidic needles on the ground, and you've seen this. You've seen places where the ground is covered in pine needles, and it doesn't have much else. So I actually want to get a lot of other kinds of trees and mix them in. And this idea of a nonprofit, one of the ideas is to start a nonprofit that is focused on food forest farming around the world, and promote that in different climates, and have lists of what trees are appropriate, what plants are appropriate for that place. and encourage other people to do kind of what my vision for my place is, but in their place. And really suggesting a different way of living, a whole different way of creating a town. And that could be adjusted according to the culture and climate of different places. So that sounds like a nonprofit that I could believe in, that I could have faith in, that would give me faith in the future of humanity. Because I don't have a lot of faith right now. I mean, what the hell am I supposed to have faith in? I have no faith in a made-up spiritual world. That's all crap. I want to have faith that there's any future at all for humanity, and not just total extinction of all humans. Why do I even care? I don't even know. I'm not sure. It's, I guess, this survival instinct, and I don't have kids myself, so my ideas are my children. You are my children. Do you hear my words, my children? I should seriously just start a cult. Fuck it. People need a cult. They needed something to replace religion as it is. I know lots of people who fucking hate religion. They're like atheists who hate religion. And I end up in this not comfortable position. And I'm generally contrarian. So if someone says something, I'm going to try and say the opposite of it. And that's not that unusual. In fact, I think that's a useful role in society. Where the fuck am I going? I'm at this crossroads again with a horse. Hi, horse. How are you? And I have to decide to go left or right again. What's my goal? I know what my goal is. I would start a different video about that. Okay, so a nonprofit, I might need other people to help run that. If it's actually successful, then there would be some accounting work to be done in tracking funds and thanking people and, in a sense, fundraising, although I hope that any idea I have is so. I guess I went left. It was a decision. There's a reason for that. Yep. Getting close to town now. So, someone would actually have to be an organized, responsible person. Hopefully we wouldn't have to fundraise a ton because the ideas themselves would be so compellingly great that even people that don't trust authorities, that don't trust organizations, people like me, would say, wow, that's actually something I can trust. That shit is great. And landowners who would like to do what I do with my land, what I'm trying to with my land, they might be inspired, and the frameworks that could be created could serve them. I mean, we could make an app for seed collection and plant exchange, to help people be able to trust each other and turn their land into this amazingly productive thing in terms of being a food forest and serving wildlife, but also having it serve people. Because we have to have the forest be economically viable and have it compete with other potential uses. So that's one idea for a nonprofit. It's a very good one. And I am religious in my fervor about such things. And I would suggest other people be that way as well. And I think some people are. I mean, some people see the impending collapse of civilization and they would like to do something about it. They would like to be a human who has a net positive impact upon the world. And that's not just with plants. It's beyond permaculture. It's the social culture of people and how we deal with each other, how we interact. Because if we just always rape the land and take everything we can, we all lose. And we've seen that. I mean, there's places that used to be lush and beautiful that aren't anymore. And in some sense, fossil fuels right now are giving us a respite from that. We have all these people, and they're able to use fossil fuels. As those get more expensive, they're going to go back to cutting down the forests. This is probably why the Bronze Age occurred, or ended, rather. I'm not big on my history here, so somebody smarter than me can figure it out. But my impression was that the European forests got cut down for the Bronze Age, and then it collapsed because they ran out of wood. And you can look at many societies that misused the forest around them, and they collapsed. The Mayan civilization may be one of these, where they grew too big for their environment because they collapsed before colonization. Now, they still existed. The people still existed. The language still exists now, still. But it's quite possible, and I'm not perfect on my history here, but if I recall, they collapsed probably because they built water systems that failed. I know if you look at a place in Asia, where's that place? It's a really cool place. I've never been there. Really cool place, Asia. Really great sculptures in, is it Thailand or, I don't know. I've never been to any of those countries over there, so I think my ignorance is okay. Anyway, big cool city that might have collapsed because they built a really cool water system that allowed them to build a bigger civilization, but then that failed. Don't build big systems that can fail, and then your entire society fails. That's why, for example, with rain capture, I don't want to build a bunch of stone or ferro cement water storage containers, because when there's an earthquake, not if there's an earthquake, when there's an earthquake, they will all break, and all of a sudden you have a whole society of people who don't have water and they need it. You set yourself up for failure. You created a fragile system. Big fucking surprise, you're all going to die off. And that's not pretty. It's not pretty to have to say it either, but we have to deal with these tough concepts. So this nonprofit would not be for no reason. It's for some big reasons, and I think there are people out there who can hear what I'm saying and can see the future. I'm seeing an increasing number of academics and smart people who know shit more than I do, who have degrees and things and whatever, or have media attention, who don't say stuff like fuck and dumb fuck and insult the entire world. They're nicer than me because they're smarter. We'll see what's smarter, but because people need to be told this shit. They need to be told that the path we're on is towards total devastation, destruction, and death. I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. That's where we're headed. So is that where we want to be headed? I recommend we change that. So I have to create a nonprofit or more than one for those purposes. And I do have some other goals, like they're outside of that. Like my goals about social engineering and creativity and art, and there's other stuff that could be created. A little bit of dust here. It may be that I have to create more than one for different aspects of this thing. And then people would actually be able to donate, and I don't know how that works. I've never deducted anything off my taxes. I also haven't paid taxes because I haven't worked in 25 years. So I haven't paid taxes in 25 years, except land taxes and sales taxes and taxes on anything I do, and gasoline taxes. And so obviously I paid a fuck ton of taxes, but I didn't pay any income taxes. So, but people could do that. They could deduct it. And I have some friends who like what I do, or I hope I do. I mean, I refer to people as friends that I haven't seen in over 20 years and I haven't talked to, and might even dislike me. And somebody even told a lie about me that was pretty fucking nefarious, like really bad, and that spread. And then people told me about it, but that sucked. But there's somebody out there that likes me or my ideas. I mean, who gives a fuck about me anyway? Who cares if I'm a dumbass? The question is, can I do anything good? Can I produce? That's what matters. And if I can create a space where I can invite other people to it, and they work for the same goals, and we can make videos showing them working for those goals, then it's not just some nonprofit you dump money on and you're paying for somebody's lavish lifestyles and their nice cars and shit. I mean, like, I know of a place that's a nonprofit. It's related to the UN, United Nations. And you go by their parking lot, and it's just all these really nice cars. Like, Normal people are driving shitty cars, and all these people have really nice cars. And that tells you it's a corrupt system. I think. Is that judgmental? Well, it's a judgment. We all judge. And you don't want to give your shit to a nonprofit that doesn't have good ethics and stuff. Like, even as I think about my land, one of the other nonprofits I could create is one that people can donate their land to, and then this organization will take care of it and turn it into a functional food forest that is an economically viable entity in and of itself. So it doesn't continue to exist on donations. It becomes something that can't be created in the existing economic model because it doesn't fit in well currently. But the economics of the future are not the economics of the Industrial Revolution. What we're experiencing now is a false bubble, and it's not how shit's going to be later. So it is possible that we could build spaces that, there are people like that, like people like me with no kids, right? They didn't have kids, and they have a piece of land that they love. And there's people trying to think about this kind of stuff. Like, I think there's a company called Patagonia. They make like clothing, like camping clothing or something. And I don't remember a lot about it, but I think that the guy and now the woman, I saw an article, he might have died, but I think she's continuing the work of, they just buy land for conservation. That's really cool. But I think buying it and setting it aside for no reason isn't good enough. I want to go further. I'm not saying they do that, okay? They might be doing great stuff. In fact, maybe I need to investigate them. There's World Wildlife Fund, Should I donate my land to them? But my fear is, there was a World Conservation something too. My fear is, because I read an article where somebody had donated their land, but then the organization sold it. And that kind of offended me. At the same time, if the organization's goal is to do good things and survive, it could be that a particular piece of land does not fit in with what they can handle. So, like, for example, let's imagine this nonprofit, and then somebody donates a house to it in a place where we don't have any projects near it. We have nothing we can do with it. It still could be used as kind of an evangelism site. But I'm really picturing a focus on food forests. So it would be a great donation, but there would be a temptation to then sell it and put that resources into something that could be actually a deeper success for the values of the organization. I don't know about that kind of thing. But that's why I don't trust these organizations. There is a site that actually evaluates nonprofits to see if they're just all overhead or if they actually do anything good. And I would want any nonprofit we created to be publishing videos and materials that show what we're doing with land and that inspire others. So not letting it become corrupt. From the very beginning, protecting the organization against corruption. But I need to do that really quick because I don't have anybody to give my land to. Nobody I trust. Anybody I give it to, like even my best friend, the temptation for him to sell it, because he's not a wealthy guy, the temptation for him to sell it is super high. It would be super high, and I would rather he be employed by the organization so, his family is supported so that he can benefit. But he would be very tempted to sell it and have it all be cut down for monoculture, even though he loves the project and he's a guy I've worked with for 15 years or more. And I trust him a lot, but I don't trust an individual to really own. I don't know. It's a tough set of issues. I'll deal with it. We'll see what happens in the future. You got suggestions for other things I talk about that would fit into a nonprofit framework, or if you know a lot about nonprofits or want to be involved in some way, let me know, because I can't do this shit myself. I am unqualified and tired, and I'm I'm not going to do any accounting and shit because I'm kind of disorganized. It's got to be partnerships with other people. So let me know.